Thank you, Hope, for allowing me to share in this tribute to an international past president of the General Federation of Women's Clubs. In GFWC, Virginia, protocol dictates that as the only living past state president from Northern District, I was asked to offer a memorial resolution at our state convention. But Hope knows that my relationship with Phyllis V. Roberts was a very special one. Our connection is much more than both of us having served as state president from the same district. I thought about saying that Phyllis was like a mother to me. I am close to her daughters in age, but even when I was a young whippersnapper as a junior in Northern District in Virginia, Phyllis always treated me as a fully grown woman with something to say. She appreciated my sense of humor and passion for service to our community. I was only in my mid-20s, but it was Phyllis who sparked my interest in parliamentary procedure, whose appropriate use of humor inspired my speech-making ability, and it was she who served as a role model for how a woman uses her natural feminine instincts to lead with grace and concern for others who may feel less confident or outspoken. Yes, Phyllis was like a mother to me and a role model, but she was also my employer. It was Phyllis who asked the executive committee to hire me as GFWC executive director during her second year as international president. In what was probably the strangest promotion in GFWC history, I went from being GFWC president's aide to being GFWC executive director. I was an assistant administrator in an 800-bed hospital at the time, looking to become CEO of a healthcare association in Washington, D.C. Sometimes your career is what happens while you're making other plans. I know one of the highlights of Phyllis's term as international president was meeting Mother Teresa in India in 1988. I still remember her regaling the staff with the stories of having her rather substantial self carried up the steps of a tourist site by a little man half her size. I also remember her being in total awe that she felt being in the presence of such a great and inspiring woman as Mother Teresa. Being an aide to Phyllis during her term as GFWC president literally made me a part of the family, as I served alongside her daughters, Cam and Lori, and her sister, Mildred. Phyllis and I had been Fairfax County neighbors for many years. Our husbands were friends, and we shared a love of critters, as Phyllis called pets. She continued to encourage me to formalize my interest in parliamentary procedure. In 1997, my husband and I both attended a series of preparatory classes taught by Phyllis, and we became members of the National Association of Parliamentarians. That class included Phyllis's husband, Jim, and eventually all three of us became professional registered parliamentarians. I served as GFWC parliamentarian under Ernie Schreiner in 2004-2006. All because of Phyllis's mentoring, guidance, and sometimes not so gentle prodding to just do it. As a dedicated member of GFWC, volunteering thousands of hours at the local level for the Pine Ridge and Falls Church Women's Clubs in Fairfax, Virginia, and the Charlotte Women's Club in North Carolina. She was elected and served with distinction as president of GFWC Virginia for the 1970-72 administration, with a focus on conservation, the ecology, and mental illness. Her state project was the establishment of the Virginia Mental Health Research and Education Foundation. This was a landmark gift to Virginia to provide a continuing and growing resource for financial aid to state mental health programs that provided innovative research and personnel development programs. Phyllis was elected and served with grace, good humor, and excellence as International President of the General Federation of Women's Clubs from 1986 to 88, with the preservation of endangered species as the President's special project. To commemorate the life of Phyllis V. Roberts and to celebrate her leadership of more than 50 years of loyal service to GFWC and her community, I would like to offer this reading, which I know was meaningful to Phyllis when I read it at the funeral of a mutual friend years ago. Unfortunately, I didn't record the name of the author at the time, and despite diligent research, it is still unknown to me. One of the many lessons I learned from Phyllis was to always cite the work that is not your own. I do know the title, and that is The Priceless Company. The joy of women, Lord, this priceless company of women working together, especially when the work that binds us is for people who really need what we can give, the sick, the old, the lonely, people whose problems are so much greater than our own. How wonderful that in joining forces to help them, we gain so much ourselves. And the greatest of these is friends. Sometimes looking around me in a busy, babbling room or a hall or a kitchen, a grateful tenderness fills me, almost a sense of awe. These faces, Lord, all these faces, pretty and plain, young and old, yet every one of them alight with something lovely, something warm, and every one of them dear to me, someone I can laugh with, talk with, share with as we work, and some of them special, grown such close friends over the years that it would be hard to imagine life without them. Thank you for the priceless company of all these kind, generous women, Lord. They are like a big, dependable family, and I know that in my own time of trouble or crisis, they would fly to my aid as well. They would support me, sustain me. I would never be alone. How wonderful is this knowledge. Thank you that in reaching out to give a little help to others, we are so rewarded, that we are given this priceless company. Phyllis was a big part of our priceless company of women in GFWC. I know that she served as a mentor and an inspiration to literally hundreds of women, not only in Virginia and North Carolina, where she began and finished her life, but throughout the United States and internationally. She was one of a kind and leaves behind her a legacy of leadership, service, and inspiration. Thank you, Hope and Carlene, for the opportunity to offer this tribute via video, even though I'm unable to attend the convention due to work responsibilities. My heart is with all of you, and my thoughts are with Jim, Cam, Lori, Benton, and their families. We all miss the priceless company of Phyllis V. Roberts.